And the recording is on. So once again, welcome everyone. Yeah, for everyone who's watching the recording back and wasn't here live, we just had a quiz. And we have a winner. And the winner is off with them, and he won a one-on-one session with Shansi. Yeah, we had a really good time in the quiz. So next time, just make sure that you will be here, because these quizzes are really, really, really great, and we are having a good time. So yeah, right now we are breaking down the charts. I'm breaking down the chart and taking a look at the higher time frame intentions, taking a look at the lower time frame intentions, creating a forecast for Euro USD for the lower time frame, for the higher time frame. So just doing the usual stuff. Okay, guys. Sorry, let me just drink a sip. Just a minute. Okay, here I am. And starting it on daily chart rather than the 4-hour chart. All right. So I don't know, guys, if you remember that, what did I say about this zone? What did I say about the reaction right here? What did I say what price will do after the reaction on this supply zone? As I said earlier, price is following a really, really, really clean and clear trend on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart, and it's obviously bearish, right? So it's reacting on supply zones over and over again, supply reactions over and over again, and breakout structures to the downside over and over again. This is what price is doing. This is where price is heading in the past few months, actually in the past year. From now, it's almost a year from now. No, it's more than a year. Yeah. Price is moving in this downtrend for almost 2 years now. And I don't know if you remember it, but I said it several times in the past that when price was at this region, I said that we are still bearish. You did not believe me? You didn't believe me? You were looking for longs. When a 4-hour supply got broken right here, you said that the bias changed to bullish and you are looking for longs, and the main bias is bullish right now. But I said it several times that just simply take a look at the daily. Just simply take a look at the daily. And I said that there was a supply reaction on the daily chart. And I said that the supply will hold price and will cause the next breakout structure to the downside. And you didn't really believe me. I said it because this is what price is doing. Prices keep following the same pattern, repetitive pattern over and over again. And it keeps reacting on supply zones, keep breaking structure to the downside on the daily chart after a supply reaction. And when price reacts on a daily supply zone, once again, just like it did several times in the past, right here at this region, it did several times, doing the exact same pattern as you can see, reacting on daily supply, reacting on daily supply, reacting on daily supply. When price is doing this pattern over and over again, and when it does it again, when it reacts on a daily supply zone and it changes character on the 4-hour chart, then we are not going to we're not going to look for long opportunities on 4-hour demand zones. We're not going to look for longs, because price is just following the same pattern as it's been following for 2 years now. And if you see something like this on our charts, where price is following the main direction, where price is following the main intention, the main bias on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart, we're going to trade with this trend. We will try to trade with this flow. We want to trade with this order flow, because, look at these movements. These short downside movements are much, 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 much stronger than these pullback long movements. So just take a look at this. Fucking inefficient movement, fucking huge volume movement to the downside. Just like this, just like this, just like this, just like this. Take a look at the long movements. Pullbacky, shitty structure. Pullbacky, shitty structure. Same here, same here. You can see there's no volume. There's literally no volume in these upside movements. There's no real volume in these upside movements. Where did the money came into the market? Where is the money being placed on the market? On the short movements, right? On these downside movements. The money is being placed into the market right here. The money is being placed into the market right here, right here. Where will price react? Where will price try to collect more money? On these areas where money did put into the market, where money flowed into the market. Price will, of course, obviously react on these areas, because it has to collect the money. It has to fill up the balance. And after the balance is being filled up, then it can create the other inefficient movement to the downside. It can create another breakout structure to the downside. This is how order flow works. And this is how the main trend works. That's why you always have to trade with the main trend. Because if you're following the main trend, then actually you're going to print money. You're going to pass challenges. You're going to make lots of fucking money out of these main trend movements. And actually, I saw a change in the community. I saw lots of changes in the community since I posted the plan webinar, since I posted the PDF plan, where I show how to create your own personalized plan, and I posted the criteria tracker. I saw lots of changes in the community because you guys are trading with much more discipline. You guys are trading with much more patience, and you guys actually started to follow the main trend movements. You guys are trading the main trend more times than you don't. So yeah, I'm actually pretty fucking proud of you, and it just indicates to me that it was worth to work with that file. It was worth for me to create that file and to post that file for you because it's working. Like, we are literally getting 1 or 2 or 3 funding members every single day. We are getting literally 1, 2 funding members every fucking day. Every day we are having new funding members, and it's insane, guys. And okay, in the past we also had funding members. In the past we've also made lots of funding members, but not as many as now. In the past week, 1 week, in the fucking past 1 week, we had more than 20 new funding members. This is crazy. In 1 week, we had more than 20 new funding members. And it's because you guys are getting more discipline. You guys are starting to get it. You guys are starting to get what the fuck we have to do on the charts. You're starting to get it. You got it. Congratulations, guys. You know how to trade the fucking prudent, and that's what it takes to become funded. Just take a look at the funded traders. Let them be the example for you, for everyone who's not funded yet, but on their way to be funded. Let those guys be the example. All of those guys completed the challenges. All of those guys completed the phases and completed the whole funded account by trading the main movements, by trading the main trend, by trading pro trend, and by and by following the criteria tracker, following the criteria, following the plan. That's the only way that you become funded. Or if you're not talking about just the funded members, but the challenge passes. For example, there are lots of examples. I won't name any. They were like past the challenge in 10, 20 days. So they took their time. But they passed the challenge. Why? Because they were waiting for the best possible setups. They were waiting for the pro trend phase. They were waiting for the criteria fitting trades. But all of the criteria are fit, and they are pulling the trigger after the criteria were fit. And that's what you have to do in order to become funded. And, you know, I've already created a webinar about this, but I was talking about how to identify the highest probability setups. It's in the recommended webinars. And I said that you have to wait for the 15-minute zone taps or the 5-minute zone taps and wait for a 1-minute change of character inside of those zones and wait for, of course, obviously the criteria. And, you know, in the main trend. And if you keep doing this, you're going to fucking print money. You're going to be funded. You will make it. And there are, in the past 1 week, there are more than 20 good examples for this, that you can do it, that it's actually achievable, that you can actually make this work. There are more than 20 examples from only the past week who made it possible. And yeah, just keep your head up, guys. You're doing incredibly good. Just stay disciplined. Just keep following the plan. Just simply do it day in and out. Just keep repeatedly doing it. Do your stuff. You don't have to care about losses. I'm losing too. I'm taking losses too. Everyone is taking losses. But it's part of the plan. If you execute the trade based on your plan, and if you take a loss, you don't have to care about it. You just have to keep repeatedly executing the plan. Okay. I just wanted to talk about this because, yeah, I was pretty fucking surprised, and I was pretty fucking proud of you guys that it's insane how many funded traders we are getting over and over again in every single day. And yeah, today I just received 2 more DMs, one on Instagram and one on Discord, that today we got 2 more funded members. And it's not even New York yet. We got 2 more funded members today. Just like, what the fuck, guys? You're doing fucking great. So yeah, just believe in yourself. There are good examples. There are lots of good examples for you, for those who are on their way to be funded. There are lots of good examples for you that it's achievable, that it's actually, you are capable of anything with this strategy. You are capable of making money. It's not just a scam. It's not a fucking scam where you actually pay for membership, you pay for signals, you pay for some random guru's $1,000 course, and you're not making money and you don't know how this shit works. It's actually doable. It's achievable for everyone because there are good examples. Actually, in the past year, you know, Flipping Markets is there for 1 year. It's the first year. We just got our anniversary in last month. And in this year, we had more than 200 funded members. More than 200 members achieved the funded status with us. It's more than doable. It's more than achievable. And actually, high percentage of these funded members are actually making money because I'm receiving DMs. I'm receiving lots of DMs that, hey, brother, hey, Marcel, thank you. You just changed my life because I'm actually making money and I could afford to move away from my country. I could afford to move to Dubai and have my family. And I'm receiving these DMs day in and out. And it's achievable. Just keep pushing, guys. You're going to make it. Don't ever fucking give up because if you put in enough time, to backtest, to be their life, to practice the materials, to actually take those 10 or 20 minutes a day to look at my recap videos, to look at, for example, Robbie's case studies or Chauncey's backtesting sessions, or be here at webinars. And you take your time to be here, study these materials, to take your time to backtest. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. Yeah. Sorry for the motivational speech, or I don't know what the fuck it was, but you know, I just wanted to talk about it. Let's jump back to the tab analysis and continue with the 4-hour chart. You know, here we were daily. They reacted on the supply zone up here after sweeping liquidity into the supply zone, switching back to the 4-hour chart. So here was the daily supply zone. Let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, it's good. So here was the daily supply zone. Of course, trend is moving like this. Bam, 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 reaction. Of course, obvious breakout structure to the downside. This is what will happen in the future too if price comes up to the daily supply zone. But here was a daily supply. Liquidity has been swept into the supply here and here also. After the liquidity sweep, price just reacted strongly, heavily, changed the character on the 4-hour chart. That was a 4-hour change of character. And that's what I was talking about. After this 4-hour change of character, after price was reacting on the daily supply zone, you can't just fucking look for long opportunities. You can't look for long opportunities when this happens. You have to stay on the money side of the market where the money goes to. And it's not the long side. In this case, it's not the long side. In this case, where the money is the short side. Because after the change of character, I just want to talk about this area too. Here was this demand zone, which did hold price. And price was moving inside of this demand for a quite long time, right? So for a few days, for a week. Price was moving inside of this demand zone for a whole week. And as I said several times when we were inside of this demand zone, that price will react on a sell to buy supply zone up here, which I marked for you previously. And price will react on the sell to buy supply zone. And I said it several times that price will react on this supply, it will break this structure. And after there was another decision on supply below this sell to buy candle. After the break of this decision on supply, lots of you guys switched the bias and started to look for longs. No, you can't look for longs when this decision on supply is getting flipped because you have to look at the momentum. You have to look at the momentum. And of course, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the momentum is bearish. And if a change of character happened on the 4-hour chart after a daily supply reaction, you're not going to look for longs after this shitty momentum, after this really, really bad momentum. You will have to look for the next possible supply area. And if the next possible supply area, valuable supply area is getting tapped, and it gives a reaction, and it gives a confirmation, you're going to enter in the main trend order flow. It doesn't matter if price changed character on the 15-minute chart before. It doesn't matter. You have to trade with the money. You have to trade where the money flows. And yeah, here was this sell to buy candle reaction, price change character here on the 1-minute chart. And after this, price just simply kept following the main order flow. After this, here comes again extreme demand zone. Extreme demand zone that has caused the pullback leg. This is the pullback leg. Sorry. So this is the pullback leg of the daily structure, right? This is the daily structure. this is the pullback of the daily structure. After the extreme of this pullback line has been tapped, you started to look for longs again. You started to look for longs again because you thought that, okay, liquidity being swept into this demand zone, I will look for longs right here because price will fill up this inefficiency, blah, blah, blah. No. Still no. There wasn't a single sign for the change in the trend. There wasn't a single fucking sign that price will go after this supply zone and fill up this inefficiency. Not a single sign was there for the change in the trend. When will I go along right here on this demand zone? When price gives a clear sign that I want to go along, I want to fill up inefficiency, I want to take liquidity, I want to grab liquidity, I want to tap a supply zone. I will go along after price gives a clear sign. But when there's no clear sign and price can't even react on this demand zone, can't even create any movement, can't even take out any supply zone, of course on the 1 minute 2-cat supply zone, but who the fuck gives shit about the 1 minute chart? So when there's actually a sign that price want to go along, and for example, it breaks above 4-hour supply zone right here, or it takes out the valuable 15-minute supply zone, then I will think about going long with confirmations, but not immediately on the 1 minute chart like a complete idiot. Sorry for saying this, but like a complete idiot. I will obviously look for shorts until the 4-hour demand is being mitigated. Why? Because several other demand zones been broken before this demand has been tapped. And secondly, why? Because the daily supply zone has been tapped and it gave a huge fucking momentum and reaction, and it's following the main order flow on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, on every single higher time frame chart. In this case, the 4-hour was a lower time frame, according to the, of course, daily, weekly, monthly. It was a lower time frame. I don't want to get lost in the lower time frame because I just want to follow the main order flow. That's it. That's it. I want to see something. A supply failure. I want to see a valuable supply to be failed to actually go along. And just taking a look at this momentum, taking a look at this price action region, nothing has failed and the short momentum is still there. And after this, what happened? Price just simply flipped this demand zone, broke this swing structure to the downside and reacted on the supply zone right here. And here at this region, I just missed a really, really good 1 to 50 risk-reward ratio trade. You know, there was a really good 1 minute confirmation right here. And I've been left out from the trade with 0.1 pip. So yeah, it was pretty annoying. And I was targeting this demand zone, and between this entry point and between this demand zone, there was actually 1 to 50 risk-reward ratio. I just simply missed that, but who gives a shit? We will miss loads of trades in the future once again. Let me just drink a sip, sorry. Okay. And this demand zone was from 2002, as you remember. This is a 2002 demand zone, which actually holds no value, right? A demand zone from 2002 can't hold value. Why? Because who holds their trades for 20 years straight? Every single trade that has been opened back then in 2002 on this 2002 demand zone has been closed ever since then, right? Because 20 years passed by. 20 years passed by between 2002 and between 2022. Who holds their trades for 20 years straight? The only value that this demand had was the psychological value. Because, you know, just like it was on my chart, it was on lots of other traders' charts. It was on your chart too. It was on other communities' chart too. It was on banks' chart too. It was on every single chart because we still trade supply demand, and this was a demand. The only value that this demand holds is the psychological value. And as you can see, price mitigated this demand zone, gave a small rejection, really small rejection. Sorry for the caps, guys, but I'm really feeling terrible. So yeah, after this, price just simply flipped this demand zone from this supply up here. And here we are now. Here we are now. The supply has not been tapped yet. And what else can we see? Let me just zoom in. I'm asking you guys, you can mark on my screen, what else can we see below this supply zone? Mark on my screen, draw on my screen. Armando, please. Exactly. There's a really huge liquidity trend line. There's a really huge liquidity trend line. Please remove your drawings. Thank you, guys. So there's a really huge liquidity trend line, which tells us what? It tells us that if price can break structure to the downside, can keep breaking structure to the downside, And actually breakout structure happened here, but it has happened with really small momentum and really small breakout structure it was. As you can see, it was barely with the body. So I won't even call this a breakout structure. I won't even call it a momentum movement because there's no momentum inside of this movement. So what does this liquidity tell us here? If it can break structure, continues to break structure to the downside, then this liquidity will be grabbed. Why? Because there's the money. Here's the money on this line, above this line. Just look at this. Look at this triangle. Here's this liquidity. In this triangle, just imagine there's the money. Here, all of the stop losses and money is sitting. If price can break structure to the downside here, because it just lost the momentum, it doesn't have enough fiber to break the structure to the downside. When will it have enough fiber? How can it collect enough fiber? If it sweeps the liquidity, if the liquidity is getting swept and the supply is getting tapped, then more likely, after a confirmation, the trend will be continued and there will be a new breakout structure to the downside. That's how we can use this liquidity. That's why we use this liquidity. Because, no, I'm not saying that, and obviously I'm not saying that price has to sweep this liquidity. If there's liquidity in the chart, if you can see liquidity on your chart, price has to sweep that liquidity at any fucking cost. No, this is not true. Liquidity is there for a reason. Liquidity is there for a reason, but liquidity won't be swept every fucking time. It won't be swept. For example, there was liquidity. There was liquidity. Did price sweep this liquidity? No. Why? Because it had enough power to create a new breakout structure to the downside. Did price sweep this liquidity right here? No. Why? Because it had enough power from previous liquidity. There was previous liquidity which has been swept. So it doesn't have to come up to collect this liquidity right here because it has swept enough liquidity which could reverse price to the downside and continue the main order flow movement. Liquidity is there for a reason. We have liquidity for a reason. If you see liquidity on the chart, it doesn't mean that price has to sweep that liquidity at any fucking cost. That's there for a reason. And the reason is, if price loses momentum and price can break structure to the downside in the main trend, we're always talking about the main trend because mainly we don't give a shit about the counter trend, right? I don't trade counter trend. I only trade main trend. As you can see from my recaps, from everything, I only trade the main trend order flow. So I'm talking about main trend still. If price loses its momentum, loses its power, and can't keep break structure to the downside, can't follow the main order flow to the downside anymore, what does it have to do? It has to collect the liquidity. For example, from here, it has to collect the liquidity. And it seems like price is loses momentum. Price loses momentum. There's no momentum here. So more likely price will grab this liquidity. Just like it grabbed here. Just like it grabbed this liquidity. Here was the momentum. After this, price lost the momentum. Couldn't break structure to the downside. Couldn't break structure to the downside. Struggling to create anything. What did it have to do? It had to sweep this liquidity. Had to sweep this liquidity. After the liquidity sweep, what did it cause? Continue the main order flow because enough money have been collected. All of these old stop losses been opened new as fresh new orders right here on the supply zone. What will this indicate? It will indicate the continuation of the main trend, main order flow. Once again, if price loses power here, loses the momentum here, what does it have to do? It has to sweep liquidity, has to collect this money from here, from this triangle, to continue the main order flow. After this money is being collected, there's still a chance that price will flip this supply zone. But if this supply fails right here, and coming back to where I started this monologue, if price sweeps this supply zone, flips this supply zone, then that's the failure of a valuable supply zone. That's what I want to see to change the bias. If price sweeps the fuck out of this supply zone and flips it, then that will be a real bias decider and change your movement. Because if this supply zone is getting flipped, that means that this money, all of this huge amount of money, wasn't enough to reverse price to the downside and continue the main order flow movement. It means that price failed to create any new movement to the downside and failed to follow the main order flow. And if this happens, if this supply is getting flipped, then there's a high chance that price will react on this demand zone. And there's a high chance that inefficiency will be filled up right here. There's a high chance that this liquidity will be swept. Why? Because the daily chart, and here comes the fucking important part, because the daily chart will be still bearish. Let me just switch to the daily chart. If that supply is getting flipped, the daily chart will be still bearish, right? And if this 4 hour is getting flipped, you will be able to take longs up to some higher supply region, for example, this one right here. but the daily chart will be still bearish. And if the, of course, 4-hour changes to bullish, 4-hour will be bullish after the flip of this 4-hour supply zone, but the daily will still remain bearish. And this is the change between the time frames. 4-hour can be bullish, while the daily is still bearish. And what do we have to do right here? Just the same as the same on the 4-hour chart. If the supply is getting flipped, then there will be an indication for the change in the trend. That will be a bias decider movement. On the higher time frame, if this daily supply is getting flipped, then more likely price will come up to some higher region, which will be a weekly supply zone, which can be a weekly supply zone. For example, let me just remove this, please. Sorry. Okay, which will be a weekly supply zone. For example, above liquidity, here's liquidity. There's a supply below, above the liquidity. If the daily supply fails somewhere around here, then more likely price will come up to mitigate this weekly supply zone. Because the 4-hour failed, 4-hour turned to bullish, but the daily supply is getting tapped, 4-hour has a chance to turn back to bearish again. Has a high chance actually because it's the main trend. But if the daily supply fails, then the daily failed to continue the main order flow. If the daily fails to continue the main order flow, then the weekly has a chance to still continue the main order flow because the weekly is still bearish. And if the weekly holds price and it gives us confirmation, etc., then the weekly order flow will be continued. The weekly breakout structure will happen. And all of the other time frames will turn back to bearish and follow the higher time frame order flow. And the same goes on for the 1 minute, 15 minute, 4-hour. So you just see the, I don't know how to say this, see the, not difference. What's the opposite of difference? Similarity. Similarity. Okay, sorry. So just see the similarity between the 1:15 4-hour and the 4-hour daily weekly. Same thing. Same thing goes on for the 1 minute. There could be a failure of the 1 minute supply zone, and the 1 minute will change trend, right? But the 50 minute will still, sorry. So there could be a failure of a 1 minute supply zone. Just imagine the similarity between the 1 minute and 4-hour chart. Just imagine that this is a 1 minute supply. This 1 minute supply fails, right? This 1 minute supply fails. 50 minute is still bearish. 50 minute trend is still bearish. And if a 1 minute supply fails right here, this 1 minute supply fails, then the 1 minute will turn to bullish. But there's this 50 minute supply zone, which has a chance, high chance to hold price and continue the main order flow and create a new breakout structure. Similarity between the 1 and 4-hour chart. If this 4-hour fails, then there will be a change in the 4-hour trend, right? So we will be able to take loans after the failure of this 4-hour supply zone up to the next daily zone. Because above the 4-hour, there's the daily. Just like above the 1 minute, there's the 15 minute. If this 4-hour zone fails right here, then we will take longs up to the daily supply. If this daily supply is getting flipped and there's a change of character, of course, we will take shorts again, because it's the exact same thing as it happens on the 1 minute chart. If there's a change in the 1 minute trend, price has a high chance to come up to the next recent higher time frame supply zone, right? Which is the 50 minute in this case, which we are doing in every single trading session. This is what we do in every single trading session. If price comes up to this supply and changes character right here, 1 minute changes back to bearish again. And we are following the main trend. We are following the main order flow, and we will enter in a trade here, target the breakout structure line. Exact same thing will happen on the 1 minute as on the 4-hour chart. So you have to understand this. You have to understand how the structure works and why is it there. And if this supply fails, what supply could hold price? If that supply fails, which supply could hold price? You have to play with the time frames. You have to actually live on the higher time frame, not on the lower time frame. Leave on the higher time frame and use the fucking 1 minute chart for entries. That's what we have to do right here. Sorry, long monologue. Was it understandable? Did you get what I was saying? Okay. Nice. I just want to clear this because it's really, really important. So, back to the breakdown. What do we have to do right here? What do we have to do right here? I'm asking you guys, what do we have to do right here at this region? If you raise your hand, you can answer. No, Bailey. Based on the things that I was just explaining, what do we have to do in this region? Mirza, you saying?
To collect more liquidity to the downside.
Wait for the liquidity speed to the upside.
Yeah, exactly.
But that will be loads of fucking time. We will have to wait days for this people, this liquidity. What else can we do? Well,
we need to wait for change in the market structure, 15-minute change of character.
Exactly. Just like the same I was explaining. Just like on the 4-hour daily weekly. If the 15-minute fails somewhere around here, if the 15-minute supply, more likely this will be the last 15-minute supply zone up here. If this 15-minute supply fails and it's getting flipped, then we have a freeway after this supply. We have a freeway, free long trades after this supply, because there's an indication that the supply failed. There's still liquidity to target. There's still this supply to target. If this 15-minute supply fails, we have a freeway up to this supply zone. What happens if this supply is getting tapped? I'm asking you again. Well,
again, the same idea. This is for our supply. We need to wait for 15-minute change of character, then 1 minute change of character, and have the trigger.
Exactly. Thank you. 15-minute change of character after the supply is getting tapped. We want to see a failure of something on the 15-minute chart that indicates that the trend will actually change. If it fails to, if it breaks below the rest demand zone right here, then we are waiting for a 1 minute confirmation, because 1 minute is still a random time frame. After this, we will have a freeway down to this low point, which will be around 1 to 100 restore ratio. That's it. You have to play with the time frames. Switching back to the 15-minute. Just let me clear this wrong. Okay. So here we are on the 15-minute chart. Sorry. What can we see here? The exact same thing, right? Let me just mute everyone. So the exact same thing. There's still this liquidity run line. There's still breakout structure, blah, 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 blah. The exact same things. But as I said, we want to see the failure of something valuable. And mainly the last valuable thing right here is this one right here, is this supply. Why? Because there's lots of liquidity below this supply. There's liquidity, right? And if this supply fails, which created the less momentum, this supply created the less momentum right here, as you can see, and created this sub-breakout structure. Of course, this created momentum too, but it was part of the liquidity right here, part of the liquidity. So if this supply fails up here, and it's getting flipped, then we have a freeway up to this supply zone right here, because there's this liquidity target. And about this supply zone, I can't really identify another good supply zone, except this one. So we have another good supply zone. Let me just remove everything right here, which created a change of character actually right here and has liquidity below it. So if this supply fails, we have a freeway up to this supply. Close position here. If this supply fails, we have a freeway up to this supply zone. Bigger position right here. But this is still the counter trend, right? Counter trend according to the 4-hour chart. So this is the final trend. Final TP for us. This is the final target point that we can target. This 4-hour supply. It's straight up in the PDF plan. The webinar plan, where I explain the webinar and TPs and etc. It's straight up in the webinar. But yeah, what do we have to do right now? What are we waiting for right now? There was no demand mitigation on this region. There was fucking no demand mitigation here. So this will be liquidity. This is liquidity. I wouldn't really take any action between this supply zone and between this price action region. So if price can break structure here to the downside and can create a new supply or can come up to this supply, I will not do anything. If these two scenarios can't happen today, then I will actually skip trading for today, because I want to see the break of the structure here to the downside that will leave behind the supply zone, and I can trade based on that supply zone. Or I want to see the mitigation on this supply. I want to see the confirmation on this supply and the breakout structure. Or I want to see the tap of this supply and flip of this supply and longs up to this supply. These are the possible scenarios. These are possible high impact scenarios. Sorry, just a minute, let me drink. Okay, so that's what we are waiting for. And if I take a closer look, this liquidity, it seems like it's been weak. It's been weak. Really, really small weak above. So I won't really call this as a liquidity sweep. I will call this as the third tap because, you know, just imagine someone opens a position somewhere around here. And on the 15-minute chart, for example, he uses, I don't know, 10 pip stop loss on the 15-minute chart. People usually use 10 pip stop loss or even more. You know, if you entered in a position right here or on the second tap, I mean, you were waiting for a third tap at this line, this won't pick you out. This won't take you out. This can take you out. It can call it liquidity. I won't call this as a liquidity sweep. Liquidity sweep really has to call it liquidity. It really has to sweep out the stop losses. Even if you use the 5 pip stop loss right here on the third tap, that's not even a stop loss for you. Even if you use the 3 pip stop loss, that's not even a stop loss for you. Even if you use the 3.5 pip stop loss, that's not even a stop loss for you. So no, I won't call this week as a liquidity sweep. I will call this as a third tap because it didn't really sweep liquidity. I want to see the real sweep of the liquidity, not just a small wick above which barely collects any stop losses. So yeah, possible scenarios. And as you can see, after this sweep, theoretical sweep, price couldn't break structure to the downside and just reacted on this demand zone, sub-demand zone. So yeah, these are the possibilities for today. If none of these will happen, I won't trade. But let me just take a look at the 5-minute chart. So 5-minute chart price here did not mitigate any demand zone, but changed the character here to the upside, right? So there was a change of character, strong change of the character right here. After this price reaction on some sort of 15-minute demand zone here, as you can see, here's the reaction. After it swept the liquidity or created more liquidity on the top. After it came back down to mitigate another demand zone that has caused this new breakout structure to the upside. After it creates small, really, really small movements. So at this region, we can't really see momentum. There's no momentum right here. This is not a momentum. This is a range. Range on the downside, range on the upside. And this range needed to be swept, right? Which lines up with our scenarios. If the upside is getting swept, then the supply will be tapped, and we can wait for a confirmation and wait for a downside sweep. If price breaks structure to the downside, then there will be a supply zone, which has a chance to hold price, give us confirmation, continuation. So that's it, guys. That's all I'm waiting for today. There's no need to rush. There's a chance that we won't trade today. There's a high chance that we won't execute a single trade today because, you know, it's just looks pretty fucking shitty. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart also looks pretty fucking shitty. This is not what we like to see. This is not what I want to trade. This is something that I want to avoid. This is not something that I want to trade at this region. I want to avoid this region. I want to see the failure of the liquidity. I want to see the failure of something. So yeah, I will wait. I'm still waiting. I will be waiting maybe throughout the whole session. Maybe I won't do anything in this session. But if there will be an action and one of the plan plays out, so this supply is getting tapped or the breakout structure happens to the downside, then I will take action. I will enter in the trade. Mute yourselves. So yeah, if any of the plans plays out, I will take action. I will be in the trade. Regardless of the outcome, if it will be a stop loss, I don't care. If it will be a win, I don't care. If it will be a break even, I don't care. I want to execute the plan flawlessly. I want to execute my plan flawlessly, regardless of the outcome. So yeah, that's it. Let me just put on a hoodie, guys. Just a minute. Here I am. Any questions? Chancy?
Sorry, man, but is it okay if I just go because I have a really important thing to do?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thanks, man. Bye, guys. Bye, Masa.
Ciao. Okay, guys. Question? Any question about this session, about what can happen, about what I was saying? If your USD will die at the end, what will we trade? Nikita, if your USD dies, then we will make money when it's dying because, you know, we can short it all the way down. If something is dying, that's good for us because we can short it. Any question, guys? I will stop the recording and answer to your questions.